So if you were advising a potential minister of economy in any Gulf country, right? And said minister asked you to give them a projection for the next 30, 40, 50 years on how they might potentially need to transform their economies or fix their policies currently for the next 50 years. And that being addressing inequality within the UAE, or equitable growth across all of the Emirates. What would how would you tackle that?
Right. I think those are very different problems, and I think each of them sort of merit their own answer. But in terms of what I feel largely the UAE, the big focus for the UAE should be, it should be innovation. And I think this is something that I feel very strongly about, but because there are different types of economies. There are service sector economies, there are manufacturing sector economies, and then there are innovation economies. And I feel like innovation economies are the most powerful because these are where your ideas are being generated and they are being exported to around the world, which is why we see a strong US, right? Because US is an innovation economy. The best ideas are being incubated in the US and then they are exported around the world. And I feel like a lot of, while the UAE has been extremely successful in what they are doing, a lot of the innovation is still imported. And what I mean by that is that most of the development that you see, it's sort of in partnership with the international firms, and that innovation needs to be indigenized. Now, that can be indigenized through two ways. One is increasing the capability of your local labor and your own population, which I think they are working on, and they through initiatives such as emiratization, and that needs to be upscaled. Um, it is also to do with how do you create a long-term stake for international labor in the country. Because what is kind of happening in the UAE is that there are all these people that have moved in to work here, but now tomorrow, if say Saudi Arabia um, has a policy where they are paying more with and there are no taxes, then what is really stopping international labor from moving from, say, Dubai to Riyadh? And that is a question that all GCC countries have to answer, that how do they create a long-term stake for international labor in their country?
Mm-hmm.
So that is that's a question that I feel like is the question at this point, because labor is what does lead to innovation.